Today's project is not a haircut, it is a table saw insert plate. I bought this saw used about a year ago, and it only came with a factory plate. As I've been cutting more and more runners for jigs, they have been slipping in the slot next to the blade. So, I need a zero clearance plate at a minimum, but probably also a dado plate, and while I'm at it, I'll make a few extra. I know I could go look up what size it's supposed to be. This doesn't make much sense. The hole is almost 3 3/4 by 14 1/4. So I'm going to trace this onto some scraps, bandsaw it out, and then I don't know, maybe try to flush trim it. I'm going to interrupt here because breaking news, I got the haircut, and also because I finished a test piece and I learned about 4 things from that. One is that the grain direction really matters. With the grain direction going across, you end up with tear out all along the slot and also next to all 4 set screws. The second thing I learned is that my saw does not lower the blade that much below the surface of the table. This makes getting the slots started on the back a little bit difficult. I considered using a router, but I found a rusty 9-inch full curve saw blade on the shelf, and that did the job fine. The third thing is that my fence is not accurate enough to really make good use of a splitter. So I'm going to have to get a better fence before I include a splitter over here. And the fourth thing is that the finger hole up here at the front is actually not all that useful for me. That's not where these plates tend to bind when taking them out. That's at the back. So I'm going to make another test piece and take you along for the ride. So width checks out. So I've only got the double stick tape here on the ends because that's where the profile is that needs to get flush trimmed. I'm going to give these a quick sanding around the edges. This one is from a CNC project scrap, and this right here is why I don't like using composite nails to hold it to the spoil board. It is slightly proud, and that's not going to cut it for a insert plate. So now I've got to try to very carefully cut away the nail without gouging the surface. And if it was a screw, I would have noticed the hole and not used that in as a candidate piece anyway. I have to reinstall the factory insert in order to trim down these edges here. There's a larger part of the casting. I'm going to go ahead and put in some flat bottom blades to make that a little bit easier. Gotta clean out my pencil storage now. And now for the 9-inch blade. This one already has a cut. All right, so I cleaned out the sawdust from the groove. This is now slightly under, which is fantastic. And I'm gonna hold it down and bring the blade up. This blade might not match the blade that I wanna use. So you can see a little bit right here. This is where it poked through on the test piece. And that's slightly wider than the 100th thou blade that I normally use. That should be enough to get the regular 10-inch blade in there without too much burning. I could see that just fine. What do you mean you couldn't see it? So here we go with set screws. That one's done. Finger hole. I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to like the finger hole up here, so I'm going to just do one. There we go. All done.